Hi, today we're looking at Pearson Functional Skills Maths Entry Level 2. This is set 1 and we're going to start with the non-calculator section. Petra and Jonah are going on holiday to Poole. Petra buys 3 new shirts for her holiday. Each shirt costs £9. How much does Petra pay in total? Okay, so we've got £9 and she's buying 3 of those. So it's going to be 9 plus 9 plus another 9. So we start off with 9 and we're going to count on 9 more. So we've got 9. Then it's going to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it's 9 more to get up to 18. Now we want another 9. So start with 18 and we're going to go 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And we can write that down here. Question 2. Petra and Jonah are going to Poole by train. Jonah has this information. Home to the train station, 12 minutes. Train to Poole, 47 minutes. Jonah says it will take less than 60 minutes in total to go from home to Poole. Is Jonah correct? Show why you think this. Okay, well let's look at what the total distance would be. So we want to add these two together. So we're going to have 12, 47, and we're going to add these. Well, we'll start with the units over this side. Let's start with the biggest number. So we've got 7. We're going to add on 2 more. So it's going to be 8, 9. Put that here. Now on to the 10. So we've got 4. We want 1 more. So 1 more than 4 is 5. So it's going to take 59 minutes in total. Jonah says it will take less than 60 minutes. Well, 59 is less than 60 because it comes before 60. So is Jonah correct? Yes. And what we can do is we can tick yes here. And the workings that we did out up at the top we'd put down here. So we could do our 12 plus 47, 59. And that 59 less than 60. I just did it up there so we could see it all in one place. Question 3. Petra works out how many seats there are on the train. Complete the calculation. Okay, so we've got 12 times 6. Well, what we can do, you could do this as a column, so you could do 12 times 6 like this, if you're comfortable doing it that way. But also you can say, well, we can split this up. So instead of saying 12 times 6, well, maybe if we think, well, that's the same as 10 times 6, and then it's an extra 2 lots of 6. Now, by splitting it up this way, hopefully it makes it easier, because now we're counting in tens. So 10 times 6, or you can think of it as 6 times 10. So we'd have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 in here. Or if you remember the trick that when you're multiplying by 10, you just add a 0 on the end. So 6 becomes 60. And then we've got 2 times 6. Or we can do 6 times 2. So if you're better counting in twos, so we can do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we've got 60 and we've got 12. And now we can add these together. So we've got 0 plus 2, which is just 2. 6 plus 1 takes us up to 7. So in total, we've got 72. Okay. If you did want to do it using the column method this way, you'd say 6 times 2 or 2 times 6 is 12. 2 and carry the 1. And then 1 times 6 is 6. Add the 1 is 7. But you might find this a little bit complicated for now. So it's good to know alternative ways to do it. Question 4. Jonah wants to buy some snacks on the train. He chooses between one large snack and two small snacks. So here's our large snack, and we're told it's 98 grams. Whereas our small snacks are 46 grams and 46, so it's the same size. How much more does one large snack weigh than two small snacks? Right, so we want the difference. Usually when we're working out the difference, we'd subtract the numbers. But before we can do that, we need to know how much these two small snacks weigh altogether. So we want our 46, and we could say times 2, or you can think of it as 46 plus another 46. So if we start with the units, always start from the right when we're adding. So 6 plus another 6, so we start with 6, we go up to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 2, carry the 1. And we've got 4 plus 4, so start with 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. And the one we carried makes it 9. So we've got 92 as the total weight for these two small snacks. Okay, so we did say how much more does one snack weigh than two small snacks? Well, the large snack is 98. So we want to subtract the weight of the two small snacks, which is 92. So we want 8 minus 2. So start with 8, and we're going to count backwards. So 7, 6, that's taken 2 off. And 9 minus 9, well, it's the same number, so it's just going to be 0. So we're just left with 6, which we can put down here. And they've already given us the units. It's in grams. And that's the end of the non-calculator section. So now it's time for the calculator section. Question 1. Petra and Jonah are going on holiday to Poole. They share the cost of a taxi to the hotel. They will each pay the same amount of money. Jonah does this calculation. 22 something 2 equals 11. Okay. Well, if they're paying the same amount of money, well, we're splitting this up, or we're sharing it out. And when we're sharing, we use division. And division is this symbol here. Now, we can check this as well, because this is the calculator section now. So we can say, well, let's test it. 22 divided by 2 gives me 11. So I know that's right. If you weren't sure, you could try them all out. So we could try 22 plus 2. Well, that's not right. And also, if we're adding, it's going to be getting bigger, so it's not going to give us 11. We could do 22 minus 2. It's only going to go down to 20. And multiplying, again, multiplying is going to be making it bigger, so 22 times 2 is 44. But you've got your calculator, so use it, do trial and error, or if you know the answer, you can go straight for it. But it's always good to do a little check as well. Question 2. Petra and Jonah arrive at the hotel in Poole. The date is 10th of the 8th, 2020. They leave the hotel 2 days later. What is the date when they leave the hotel? Show your answer here. Okay, well, I'm going to write out the date again. Well, in the UK, we always write the day first, then the month, then the year. So if it's two days later, well, we need to add on 2 from this number. So if it's starting with the 10th, if we added on 1 day, it would be the 11th. So that's adding on 1. If we add on another day, it's going to take us up to the 12th. And we've not crossed any months, so it's still going to be the 8th. And we've not gone into a new year. So it's going to be the 12th of the 8th, 2020 or 2020. Question 3. Petra and Jonah want a double room with a sea view. We've got all of the different prices here. What is the price of the room they want? Well, I want a double room. Well, this is a double room. So we can actually cross these out. We don't want a single room. And we don't want a suite. They want a double room with a sea view. Well, these are the sea views. So again, we don't want the garden views. So the only one we're left with is this one here, which is a double room with a sea view, which is £71. Question 4. The cost of 4 breakfasts at the hotel is £56. How much does one breakfast cost? Use the correct symbol for money. Well, we're sharing this out again. So we got £56 for 4 breakfasts. If we want one breakfast, we're going to share it or divide it by 4. 56 divided by 4 is 14. Now, we're working out the cost, and they've said use the correct symbol for money. In fact, they've already used it up here. So we need to put our pound sign in as well. Right, question 5. We've got 2 parts to this question. 5a. Round 56 to the nearest 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a number line for this first of all. Basically, I'm drawing a straight line. We've got 56. So to the nearest 10. So I'm going to think, what are my 10s? Well, you've got 10, 20, 30, 40. If we just took the 6 off, this number would become 50. So let's put 50 down here. And the next 10 after 50 is 60. So we're going to have 60 up here. So 56 must be somewhere between these two numbers. Okay. Oh, not 15, 56. Okay, we can mark that on there. Okay. Now, I know roughly where it's going to be, so I've marked it there, but you don't necessarily know that. So what you can do is you can count how far it is away from 50 and from 60. So let's start this end first of all. If we started at 50 and we want to get up to 56, well, we're going to go 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that we're adding on. And if we want to go from 56 up to 60, we're going 57, 58, 59, 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're only adding 4 to get up to 60, but we're 6 away from 50. So the nearest one is going to be 60. Okay. You can also remember the rule that if you've got if you think what halfway between 50 and 60 would be, well, that's going to be 55. And you can even check that by doing 50 plus 60. And if you divide it by 2, we get right in the middle, 55. So anything that's 55 or more is going to round up to 60. Anything less than 55 is going to round down to 50. And then for part B, they say use the rounded number, so that's this 60, to check your answer to question 4. So if we look back at question 4, we did 56 divided by 4 to get 14. Well, if we use a rounded number, so we're going to do 60 divided by 4 instead. And if we do 60 divided by 4, we get 15, which is approximately equal to, so these sort of squiggly equal signs, approximately equal to 14. So that's checked our answer. We just want to find out if we're close to that number. It's not going to be exactly the same because we're using the rounded number, but 14, 15, they're close, so that's fine. We've done our check. Okay. Question 6. Petra and Jonah want a room with a sea view. They choose a room on the highest floor possible. Which room do they choose? Tick the correct answer. We've actually got 6 different rooms here. Now, if you can remember that question, they said they want a room with a sea view first of all. Well, this is a garden view, so we don't want that one. That's a sea view, that's a sea view. Another garden view, we don't want that. Sea view, and we don't want this garden view. Okay, so we've narrowed it down to 3 rooms already. And they choose a room on the highest floor possible. Well, it's on the 3rd floor. This is on the 4th floor. Well, 4th is higher than 3rd, so we can scrap that one. And this is on the 1st floor. Again, 4th is still higher than 1st, so it's going to have to be that one. Question 7. Petra and Jonah are going to their room. The rooms on the right have even numbers. So we've got 74, 76, 78. What is the next even number? Well, an even number is a number that can be divided by 2 without any remainder. So that means that they're going up in 2s each time. So we can look here from 74, if we go up in 2, so 75, 76. So that's plus 2. From 76, we're going to 77, 78. So that's plus 2. So if we want the next number, we want to plus 2 again. You could use your calculator, or you could just start with 78 and say 79, 80. And we'll just need to write that in here. Question 8. This is the temperature in the room. We've got room temperature 16 degrees. Petra wants the room temperature to be 5 degrees warmer. Now, I'm not saying the C. We can say 5 degrees C. It doesn't really matter. It's the same units, so it's the number that's the important bit. So Petra wants the room temperature to be 5 degrees warmer. So we want a bigger number because it's going to be warmer. She sets the temperature on the heating to 22 degrees. Does Petra set the temperature correctly? Show why you think this. Well, let's test it. Let's find out what we think the temperature should be. So it's 16, 5 degrees warmer. We want to increase it by 5. So we're going to add 5 onto it. So 16 plus 5 gives us 21. Okay. Well, 21 is not equal to 22. So, no, she doesn't set it correctly. And we can tick down here. Question 9. Petra and Jonah go to a restaurant. They choose the table in the middle of the restaurant. This is a diagram of the restaurant. So we've got all our tables here. Which table do they choose? Well, they want the one in the middle, okay? Well, let's think we've got 1, 2, 3 rows. So the middle row is going to be this row here. Okay, 1 on top. So we can cross out the top row and cross out the bottom. Now we want the middle column. Well, what we can do is if we cross off the end, so it's not the first one or the last. It's not the next or the next from the right. So all that's left is table 8 in the middle. Question 10. Petra and Jonah look at the menu. We've got a menu here, and we've got a few different dinners. They want the 3-course dinner that costs the least. Which dinner do they choose? Okay, well, the important bit is they want the 3-course dinner. So that means they don't want this first one because that's 2 courses, so we can cross that out. Could be this one, this is 3 courses, but not this one, that's 2 courses. Could be this one, not this one. Could be that one. So that leaves us with 37, 23 and 40. Well, let's start off by looking at the 10s. So we've got something in the 30s, something in the 20s. Well, 20 comes before 30, so it's not going to be that one. And 20 also comes before 40. So it's going to be this one here. And we just write this in our answer box. Question 11. The cook at the restaurant makes pasta. The arrow shows the weight of pasta. So here's the arrow here, pointing down here somewhere. We've got this all in grams. He needs 200 grams of pasta. How much more pasta does he need to the nearest division? Now this doesn't mean it doesn't mean this type of division. No, we're not talking about that. It's talking about these markings. So which of these markings or which of these lines is closest to the arrow? Well, that's a bit further. This is the closest one. Okay, so we're saying that to the nearest division, we've got 150. That's how much he needs. That's the weight of the pasta that he's got at the moment, 150 grams. He needs 200 grams. So how much more does he need? Well, if he needs 200 and we've got 150, then we can subtract the 150 from what he's got. And this tells us how much he still needs, which is 50. Well, it's going to be 50 grams. They've already written the units in for us, so we can just put that in there. Question 12. Jonah and Petra pay for the dinner. The dinner costs £50. They leave 1/10 of the cost of the dinner as a tip. Okay, how much do they leave as a tip? Well, 1/10. Well, this means we're dividing it by 10. So we want 50 divided by 10. So 50 divided by 10. That's 5. And it's money, so it's going to be £5. So that's the answer we want. Question 13. The restaurant closes at 10 o'clock in the evening. Jonah and Petra go to the restaurant 3 hours before it closes. When do they go to the restaurant? Right, well, we've got 4 different times here. Now you see some of them are bigger than 12. So what this means is we're working with the 24-hour clock. So in other words, once we get to midday or 12 o'clock, instead of going to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we'd go to 1300 hours. So this would be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So what we can do, if we know that the restaurant closes at 10 o'clock in the evening, well, we can write this using the 24-hour clock. We just need to add on 12 hours for those 12 morning hours. So if we do 12 plus 10, so 12 plus 10, we get 22. So that's the time the clock closes. The restaurant closes. If they go to the restaurant 3 hours before it closes, we want to take off 3 hours. So 22, take away 3, or we could count backwards from 22. So 21, 20, 19. Now you don't need to convert that back into a 12-hour clock. We just need to see if that's one of our options, and it is. So we can tick our answer there. So you might have written 7 o'clock if you just counted back 3 hours from 10. You go 9, 8, 7 o'clock. But remember, that would be 7 o'clock in the evening. So if you'd worked out 7, you'd then need to add on 12 hours to get from the morning to the evening, which would take you up to this 1900 hours here. Question 14. Petra buys a poster in a tube. This is the shape of the tube. What is the name of this shape? Okay, well, you kind of either know it or you don't know it, but if you can't remember, sometimes it's good to think, well, what 3D shapes do you know? Well, we should know a cube. I think a cube is going to look something like this. Well, this doesn't look like a cube. What other shapes do we know? Well we know a circle would be like that. Well, what about a 3D circle? And sometimes a shape with like a bit of sort of shading around it. And a 3D circle is a sphere. Well, this doesn't look like a sphere. Other shapes that 3D shapes we know, well, we got a cone, or like you might see it more as like an ice cream cone. Something like that. But this isn't a cone because it's the same width all the way along. And the other 3D shape you might know is this one here, which is a pyramid. Again, it doesn't look anything like a pyramid. So this shape, which hopefully you can remember, is a cylinder. So it's got a circle at both ends, connected with straight lines. Question 15. Petra and Jonah want to go on a boat trip. They choose the trip with the fewest seats booked. Which trip do they choose? Right, so these are all our options. We want the fewest, we want the smallest number. But let's just compare one at a time. So we've got 174 or 114. Well, they've both got 100, but 74, so 7 tens is more than 14, so it's not that one. So now we can compare these two. So 114 or 163. Again, the hundred's the same. 63 is more than 14. So we're up into 6 tens and only 1 10 there. So it can't be that one. 114, 129. So again, we can ignore the one because they've both got 100. And we're just saying which one's smaller, 14 or 29. Well, we've got 2 tens compared to 1, so it can't be that one. And we're left with 146. So hundreds are the same again. 1 10 versus 4 tens. 4 tens clearly bigger. Remember, we want the fewest, so that's the smallest number. So it's going to be this one here. And question 16. The chart shows hotel review scores. So we've got, for example, Hotel C. The review score is 4.2. Petra and Jonah stay at Hotel D. Okay, this one here. How much higher is the review score for Hotel A than for Hotel D? Right, so for Hotel A, this is the review score. What if we read across? We haven't got a number here, but we have got a number above and a number below. What we can do is add them together and divide by 2. Or we can say, well, we can look at the pattern. Well, these numbers are going up in 2s, the units here. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So what would halfway between 6 and 8 be? Well, it would be 7. So we're going to have 4.7. Okay, but as I say, instead you could say, well, let's do 4.8 plus 4.6. So 4.8 plus 4.6, so that's the total, which is 9.4. And then to find halfway, we can then divide that by 2 to give us 4.7, which is this answer here. So they wanted to know how much higher is the review score for Hotel A, which we've just worked out, than for Hotel D. Well, for Hotel D, and I'm going to use my ruler to read along here, it's 4.4. So how much higher? So we want the score for Hotel A, which is 4.7. And we're going to subtract the score for Hotel D, which is 4.4. 4.7 minus 4.4. It's going to give me a difference of 0.3. And the final question, question 17. The table shows what people think about the hotel. So 27 people think it's excellent, 32 people think it's good, 10 people think it's fair, and 6 people think it's poor. Show the number of people who think the hotel is poor on the chart. So 6 people we want to mark on the chart. Right, you can see we've got the bars for the others. Right, well, 6. So we've already got 5 marked on here. So let's have a check. Does that mean that each of these is worth 1? So if that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6 would be here. So we're going to want something, marked along here. Now we want the bars to be the same width really. So I'm just going to have a quick measurement. To me that looks about 1.5 centimetres, just under. Doesn't need to be exact. Or you can use your sort of your finger, or it's probably about the width of my middle little finger there. So let's do one line going up. And then if I had my little finger, what's it going to be? About here. Okay, and we don't have to, they've got it coloured in, so we could just quickly sketch that in. Okay, so as long as it's roughly the same width, doesn't have to be exact, we've marked it on the chart. And that's the end of the paper. So I hope you found it helpful. Do subscribe to the channel, like the video, make sure your notifications are on, and then you'll get notified as I update and upload more videos to the channel. Thanks for watching.